You should go.
Hello. Yeah, hi, good morning and good evening to everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Hi, hi, Rama. Okay, so let's just get started. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so so today, what we will do is we will start off with the topics on the SQL ahead, right? So like just to quick recap like of what we did, what we have done up till in the past. We just open this up. Right, so in the SQL, like in the last session, what we were doing was we were discussing on the regarding the different keys that we have, right? So like we discussed about a primary key, we were discussing around the foreign key, we discussed about the unique key that we have, a candidate, and alternate. So primarily it was the keys that we were discussing in the last session on the SQL that we had. That was like on Friday. And we were also trying to understand how to create a primary key and a foreign key and their properties, right? So I hope in the like in the SQL, like if you had to define any of the column as a primary key, so what we do is we give the name of the column and we define that okay, this is a primary key after that. And if you have to define any column as a foreign key, what we do in that case is we define that as the foreign key over there. So which where we say that this column references the uh, second table and the key of that. So today, what we're going to do is, first of all, we will be starting off with some of the, we will be actually exploring the DQL, right? So basically what happens is like in SQL, we have some different type of commands that we can use. So I'll start off with, so we have DML commands. This is DDL commands. We have DQL, then we have DML, DQL, and then we have DCL commands. So I'll tell you what all these are. So DDL stands for data definition language. Now these are the commands which we use when you have to create an object, right? These are the language. This is the commands that we use if you have to create any new object or modify the existing object in your database. And one of that we have already studied. That was create, right? So what happens is when you use create command, right? We use create command at two places. One for creating a database and one for creating a table. So those were the two places where we had used this create command over there, right? So similarly, we have some more commands, right? We have one command like alter. We have one command like rename. Now these are called as data definition language. Basically, Definition means the commands or the language that is going to modify the structure of the database that we have. Because when you create a table, the complete structure of the database changes because there is a new table which has been added into that database. Likewise, when you use the command alter, now alter is something we use this to modify the existing objects, right? Like if you already have an object of employee table, right? Suppose you already have an table, employee table, and you want to add a new column into it. So you will have to alter, you will have to change the structure of the table. Or probably if you feel that there is a column that you want to remove from there. So again, in that scenario also, what you will have to do is you will be actually changing the structure of the table. So we will be using alter command for that. Rename is, as the name itself tell, if you have to, we use this to rename the object names, right? So if you want to rename any table or database or views, which we will be discussing later on, you will be using rename command for that. Okay. Then what we have is we have data manipulation language, right? DML stands for data manipulation language. In this, we have the commands like insert, we have the commands like delete and update, right? So when we talk of DML, right, that is data manipulation. So in this, as the name itself tells, data manipulation, basically that data that you are trying to store. So with the help of these three commands, right, with the help of these three commands, what we do is we try to manipulate it, right? Basically, the idea is either you will be adding some new rows into that table, you will be modifying the rows, or you will be updating those rows. So manipulation means modifying those rows somewhere in that table. So there can be only three ways by which you can manipulate the data, right? Either you will insert some new data, or what you will do is you will delete some data which is already there, right? Or what you will do is you will update that data, right? The data that you have, you are trying to update it. Suppose you had entered the mobile phone number of an employee, and it has got updated, right? Now what you want to update that number over there. So that is called as the data manipulation language. Then what we have is DQL, that is data query language. Now, data query language is something that we use when you have to, this is query as in when you have to fetch the data from the database. So data that is already stored, now you want to see it, right? You want to see it, that what kind of data you have in that table. So for that, we only have one command, and that is select. Okay. So we have DML, DDL, DML, DQL. So data query language. Now select is something we use this to fetch the data from the tables. Then we have, lastly, we have the DCL commands, which stands for data control. And in this, we just have two commands. One is rollback and commit. Okay. See, what happens is, now data control language means, suppose you are trying to delete or update a data, or you are trying to insert a data. Right now, these three commands that we see, right now, these three commands are very dangerous, right? Dangerous as in, because if you delete something which was very confidential, or which was very important, you cannot retrieve that data back. Okay, if you delete it directly, if you delete any data, you will not be able to fetch that data back. So in order to have a control on that, that we want to double check that whatever we have deleted, was it correct, was it right, or was it wrong? So for that, what we do is we can use DCL commands in case you want to roll back or you want to make it commit. Rollback means the delete or update that you have done, you want to undo it. And commit means that, okay, whatever you have done, you are sure about it and you want that the system should to make, and you want the system should change that permanently, right? So that is where we use DCL commands for. So these are like, this is what the complete ecosystem of SQL is all about. Definitely there will be a lot of other stuff, but primarily, these are the commands that we are going to work with most of the time. And out of which we have already seen create command, we have already seen insert command, and we have already seen a select command, right? Select when we have to fetch complete data from the table. Okay. Now these are things, these things will start making more sense as we will start writing some part over and as we will start seeing those things uh, practically. So anyone, any queries or questions on this? Anything you would like to ask?
Hi, I have a question. So
Mhm.
command, you said we can use it to modify existing objects. So by that we can also delete columns, right?
So you can delete columns, you can add columns, you can do that.
And with delete and DML command, can we only delete rows or can we delete columns from?
Rows, only rows. So because see, when we remove a column, so changing a column is like changing the structure of the table.
Hmm.
And rows are like just the data part, that you can have 100 rows, 1000 rows, that totally depends. But columns will make it, it will, make it sure that how many columns you can have and what defines that table. So that is why we, if you have to delete or add a column, that will happen through alt.
Thank you.
So what we'll do is let's come back.
Sorry, just want to know more about rollback. So it's kind of insert or update.
Sorry, can you come again?
Rollback. No, the rollback
Rollback,
command
yeah.
is similar to update or delete.
No, rollback is something which is used for these three commands. See, when you delete some data, right? If you have deleted some data and now you realize that the data that you have deleted was the incorrect data, the data that you deleted. Now you want to bring that data back. So you will use rollback to bring that data back. Or
The
if you have
deleted
updated
ones.
some,
Okay. So rollback the
deleted
deleted
one,
ones we can get it back. Okay.
you can bring it back. So if you
Commit
want
is to
to,
confirm the data is correct.
and rollback and commit are just basically when you delete it. So if you think that the data was correctly deleted, you will say commit that, okay, make it permanent. If you feel that the data you have deleted was wrong, you will roll it back, undo it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So now what we will do is let's connect to the SQL Server and database. So now, what we will do is basically, see, we have already seen some basics around that, how you can create a table, how you can insert a data, right? So what we will do now over here is so that, we have good amount of a data with us. So we will load the data directly from an Excel. Okay, because otherwise we can't keep on writing insert command if we want a data with thousands of rows or 10,000s of rows. So what we can do is we can import the data directly into the SQL Server so that we can have some good amount of a data to play around with. So let me, so what you can all do is let me just share a link with you from where you can all download a data set. See, I have shared a link with of you. If it will bring you on this link over here. So what you can all do is please download this file from here, the sample superstore. Okay, done. Okay, see, let me all, let's just try to first have a look at the data, right? The file that you all have downloaded, that is sample superstore. Now, this is, a data regarding a superstore. So if you will see over here, we have the information as in the information regarding the order ID, right? Like when we go and when we purchase something from a superstore, so there is an order ID that is given to us. On what date did we purchase it? We have the information regarding the date on which that order was shipped, what was the shipping mode, customer ID, customer name of that order, right? So we have the country, state, and city from where that order was purchased. And if you come over here, you also have the information regarding which product was purchased, right? So you can see product ID is this, and that product belongs to which category and subcategory, and what was the name of the product. So all that information is given to you. And then you also have what was the sales price of it, right? What was the sales price and how much quantity did he purchase? And was there any discount that was given to him? And what was the profit the store made on selling that order, right? So this is the kind of information that we have in this table. Okay, so I hope, so we have good amount of data in this, right? If you will take a look at it, we have 21 columns and we have approximately 10,000 rows of data with us over here. So what we will be doing is, because there's a good amount of data which will give us an opportunity to explore all the SQL commands that we have. So what we will do is we will first of all directly import this data into the SQL Server. So let's see how do we do it. So you come to your SQL Server and open the new query window. Right. So for what shall be my first step when I open the SQL Server for the first time?
Change the
Change the
database.
database to
Change the
people.
database, right? So that was use and the database that we are using. Okay. See, now what we need to do is we have to import our data. So what we want is that when we import this data, so it should be saved into one table in our database that is already there, right? So in this database, I want to import the data of the orders tab. So if you will see in the Excel, we have two more sheets. One is returns and one is people. So right, like it happens many a times that when you order something and if the customer doesn't like that order, they can also return it back, right? So if you will see there is a returns tab as well. So in the returns, what is happening over here is we can see that the order has been, these are some order IDs which are returned by the customer, right? These are those order IDs which are returned by the customer. So we just have those order IDs. So if I want to see that this order ID, if I come and search it over here, so I can see, okay, this order which was returned, it was purchased by Iona from California, and the product that was purchased was this product was some round ring binders, and the price and the profit is given. So this order is like returned by the customer. Now this has been returned by the customer. So this is how you have some data in the returns tab. And then there is people tab, right? In the people sheet, what we have is we have the name of that manager of that region. So like for West region, who is the manager? For East region, who is the manager? So we have the name of the managers from the different regions. Okay, so but right now we will just import the data from orders, not all the three tabs. We will be importing the data for only the orders right now. So what I do now is if I come back to the SQL Server, what I'm going to do now is I am going to right click on my database. That is this. I'll right click on this and I will click on tasks. So all of you, please do this part with me. So right click on the database and click on tasks. And from here, you will get the option of import data. So we can directly import the data from SQL Server or from an Excel. So you click on import data. From here, now, whenever we import data, right, it's not just about SQL Server, it's like any tool. So when you import the data, so what happens over there is there are always two things that we discuss. One is called as source, another is called as destination. Okay. So source means the location from where we want to load the data, and destination, the location where we want to store the data. Okay, this is what we have, the source and the destination. Okay, so now what is the source? Source in our case is Excel and destination is SQL Server. This is what we have, source and the destination. So now this is the same thing that is going to happen over here. So when you open this, so oops, I just closed it by mistake. If you right click on this, tasks, import data, right? So in your case, you might be getting this window. So you can just, this is just a welcome page. You all can click on next on this. Okay, you all can click next on this. Now, the first thing is SQL Server is asking us to choose a data source. Data source means select the source from where you want to copy the data. So I have to copy the data from Excel. So I will choose Microsoft Excel from here. I'll choose my source, right, from where I want to load the data. Then you click on browse and go and select that file. You go and select that file. You can simply go and select that Excel file. And then you click on next.
Hi, Amit. I have a doubt.
Uh-huh.
Don't we need to have any table structure for this upload? In
So
this,
it will create all those things automatically.
okay,
So we will not have to create all those 21 columns. So when we
okay,
will load the data, so it will straight away create a new table and define all the columns and data types.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now
What is
over here,
ODBC driver?
sorry,
What is ODBC driver?
one second. Sorry, yes, please.
Yeah, I was saying it is showing as destination. We have to select the destination, but bottom is showing driver, the name of the ODBC driver to use when
So
connecting.
from here, we have to select SQL Server native client.
Okay. Do we know the full form of ODBC?
ODBC means online database connections, basically. So these are something
Okay.
that we use when we have to connect to some other data sources, right? Like Oracle and all. So for that, we need ODBC connections.
Okay.
So our destination in our case is SQL Server, right? Because we are loading the data in this server right now. So we will be using SQL Server native client. Now I click on next. So now when you click on next, now what is going to happen is it is going to ask you whether do you want to copy complete data from the tables, or you want to write a query to only have limited amount of a data from that Excel. So right now what we will be doing is we will be copying entire data from that Excel. So we will be copying all the rows of that orders tab, right? But if you want to only copy some limited part of a data, we can also control that from here. So for that, a person should be good with writing the SQL queries, which we will be learning right now. Then you click on next. So now when you click on next, now what will happen is SQL Server will start giving you all the sheet names that you have in the Excel. So we have orders, people, and return, right? So all the sheets that we have, it is giving us all the sheet names over here. And by default, what SQL does is it puts a dollar sign. It puts a dollar sign against the sheet name. Now this is like a default. It will automatically put a dollar sign after the sheet name. So now if you see, right now I'm only interested in loading the data of orders sheet. So I will select that. So others we will load later on, but right now we will just load the data of one sheet, that is orders. So when you checkbox this, what SQL is doing, SQL is telling you that you are loading the data from this sheet. And in the SQL Server, there is a table that will be created by the same name. So with the same name of the sheet, SQL will create another table over here. And if you want to rename this table, right, like because it is, we will get a dollars or dollar also inside that table name. You can come inside and you can remove the dollar. Or if you want to give some another name to this table, you can rename this also. If you call it as TBL underscore orders, you can do that also. But right now I'll keep it as orders only, just for that simplicity. So just remove the dollar sign. And then you click on next. Again a next. And finish. So you can all see now the data has been loaded. And we can close this. Okay. So now if you will come to your database, just refresh it once. Expand it, come to the tables, and you will find orders over there. Okay. So now what we will do is we will use DQL command, that is select. So I would like to see entire data from this table. So what I will do, I will say select star from orders. So when you say select star from orders, it is going to show you complete data from that table over here. So if you see, all the columns and all the rows have been loaded. Okay. Now asterisk is used to fetch all the columns, right? So when you write asterisk, so it is fetching all the 21 columns. But suppose you are only interested in seeing some of the row columns. You don't want to see complete information. You only want to see the customer name. You want to see the customer name. You want to see the product ID, and you want to see the sales, right? Suppose you only want to see 3 columns from this table, right? So what you do in that case is, instead of writing asterisk, you will say select. You will give just the name of those columns that you want to see. You want to see customer name. Now please make sure, right? Because generally what we do is, whenever we define the column names, what we do over there is we never use space in that column name, right? If you see customer name, we will never use a space over there. But now, because we have loaded this data from an Excel, so what SQL did was it created the column names by the same name that they are there in the Excel. Like in the Excel, if the column name is customer name, so it has created that column with the same name, customer name. So that is why there is a space that is coming. So if your column name has a space, you will have to put that column in the square brackets, right? So you will say select customer name, comma, product ID, comma, sales from orders. So if you don't want to see all the columns and you only want to see selected set of columns for your output perspective, so you just have to write the name of those columns, and when you execute it, it is going to give you the information for those 3 columns only. Okay. So now what happens in this select is, you can reorder the column or select custom columns. So what do I mean by this is, like, in whatever order you will write the column names, in the same order the output will come, right? If you say select sales, comma, you say category, you say country from orders. So now if you see, what I've done is I have given the first column as sales. So when I will generate this output, it will show me the sales first, then the category, and then the country. So that means in the select order, in whatever sequence you will write the column names, in the same sequence, the output will be shown to you in this window over here. Okay. I hope you all are trying this. Now, in this select command, the select command has certain clauses that we can use, right? The first clause that we have is order by. Order by, this is used for sorting the data. Okay, so if you say select star, so you can just make the notes as well. So we will be discussing lots of clauses. One is order by, we have where, we have distinct, we have top, we have group by. So these are different clauses that we have, which we will be discussing one by one. See, order by something, as the name itself it tells, which is we use to sort the data. So if I say select star from orders and I say order by sales, okay, so now I'm saying I want to select all the data, but the data should be ordered by, it should be sorted by sales. So if I run this query, you will see the output over here. The output that you will see, the output is coming in a sorted order of sales now. It is coming in the ascending order. By default, the order by sorts the data in ascending order. So if you see, complete data has been sorted by sales and sales are coming in the ascending order right now. Lowest sale at the top, and as you go down, the sale will keep on increasing and you will have the maximum sale at the bottom. Okay. If you want the data in descending order, what you do is we use DESC, that is descending. So if I write the same query over here and I say order by sales descending, DESC, now the data will be sorted in the descending order. So highest sale is coming at top, and as we go down, the sales are decreasing, and at the bottom you have the minimum sales. Okay. You can sort the data on multiple columns as well, right? Like for example, if I say select all the data, select star from orders, order by, first of all, what I want is my data should be sorted by category, right? I want the data should be sorted by category. And within category, the data should be sorted by sales. Okay, first I want that the data should be sorted by category, and within each category, the data should be sorted by sales. So if I run this, so first of all, you will notice the data of all the category, that is furniture, that is coming, and within furniture, the data is sorted by sales in the ascending order, right? And if you will come down, then the office supplies is coming, and within office supplies, the data is again sorted in the ascending order. So you can write the multiple columns just by separate by a comma over here. Okay. So that could be change it. Okay. So now, so this is how we use the order by clause. So simple and quick to use. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Now the next thing that we will see over here is that is the where clause. Now where is used to filter the data. Right? We use where command to filter the data. So like you want to see the data, only that data where the sale was more than 500, right? Out of those 10,000 rows, you are only interested in looking at that data where basically what was happening was the sale was more than 5,000 or 500, right? So that is where we use the where clause. Now where clause is used with filters, with operators. Okay, and these operators are of two types. First of all, we have comparison operators. Then we have logical operators. Okay, so in comparison operators, we have the operators like greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, right? Not equal to, right? We have in operator, we have like operator. Now these are something that we have in the comparison operators: greater than, less than equal to, in, and like. Similarly, we have some logical operators which are and, or, and not. Okay, so these are what we have as the operators. Now what we will do is we will use them one by one. So what I will do is we will start with the comparison operators. Suppose if I say select star from orders where sales is more than 500. Okay, so if you say select star from orders where sales is more than 500, and if you execute this, see now it has fetched only 1162 rows. And if you will see all the data that we would have got, everywhere we have the sales more than 500. Similarly, what you can do is, if suppose I say select star from orders where category is equals to central. Okay, so now if you want to see the data only for, not category, sorry, region. You only want to see the data for central region, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm saying select star from orders where region is equal to central. That means I only want to see the for central region. So when you put something which is character, it will come in the single quotes. When it's a number, it comes without quote. But when you have something as a text, you put it in the single quotes. So now you can execute it. Now you will notice it has only fetched the data for us where the region is central. Okay. Similarly, if you say select star from orders where region not equal to central. Okay, if you say not equal to central, now it is going to give you all the data from the orders table where the region is not equal to central, right? So except central, you will get everything. Right? This is not equal to. Okay. Now there is one new operator that you all would be seeing, that is like operator. Okay. Now like operator is something. So, like as the name itself tells, you want to find something similar, right? Suppose what you want is you want to see the data of all those customers whose name is starting with A, right? Like if you see over here in this table, we have the customer names. Suppose I want to see all that data where the customer name is starting with A. So what we do is we use like operator, and in the like operator, we use wildcards. We use wildcards, and wildcards are of two type. One is percentage, that means any number of characters, and we have underscore, that means one single character. Okay, so now this is the, you all will find it a little different to use, so you can all just watch for a minute and then you can all try this. So if I say select star from orders where customer name like, so if I say like a percentage, right, that means I'm trying to say I want to find the data for all those customers whose name is starting with A, and after A it can have anything, right? Percent means any number of characters, and after A it could be anything. It could be Amit, Amitabh, right, Anjali, Anjana, anything. So if I just execute this, you will now notice we get all that data where the customer name is starting with A, and after A it could have anything. Okay, if I write the same query like this, if I say percent %A, that means I want to see the data of all those customers whose name is ending with A, but before A it could have anything, right? But the name should end with A. So if I now run this query, you see we get Helen Andrea, right? Craig Carrera. So all these customer names are now ending with A. Okay. If I write that the name should start with H and it should have any number of characters after that, and then there should be A in the last. So I am saying I want to find the information of all those customers whose name is starting with H, then any number of characters, and then but it should end with A. So if I run this, so there is this customer Helen and Rieda. If you see, the name is starting with H and ending with A. Okay.
Hi Amit, I have one question.
Okay.
Here customer name comes in square bracket, but in above region is not in square bracket. Why?
This is because this customer name column has a space inside it. So because of a space, if you will write it without square brackets, SQL will assume that these are two different words. So to make sure to make SQL understand that this is one single column name, we have to put this inside the square brackets. But if your column name doesn't have a space, you can write it without that square brackets also.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. So shall I move ahead? or if you're all just trying this. So now similarly, over here what we have is we have the underscore. Now underscore is something that we use very less. Basically underscore means one single character. So if I say select star from orders where customer name like, if I say customer name like S underscore M, right? I'm just giving an example over here. So now that means the name should start with S, it should end with M, but between S and M, right? Between S and M, it can have only one character. There can be only one character between S and M. You cannot have more than one character, right? So that is what we understand by the underscore. If you write two underscore, that means between S and M, you can have two, you should have two characters. Okay, so underscore over here is showing you number of characters that you can have. If you write one underscore, one character. If you write two underscore, two characters. And then after this, so these are the different operators, right? Greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, that we can use, which are as straightforward. Then we have the comparison operator or logical operators. So logical operators are used when you have to check more than one condition. Okay, if you have to check for more than one condition. So like for example, if I say select star from orders where sales is more than 500 and category is equals to furniture. Right, so now what we are doing over here is we are putting two conditions inside this. Radhika, I'll be coming to the n, because n is something which is related to the AND operator or the AND and OR operator that we will be seeing. It is just linked to that. Okay, so if I say select star from orders where sales is more than 500 and category is furniture. So basically I want to test two conditions and both the conditions should be true. So that is where we use AND. AND is used when we have to check that, when we have to check for the two or more conditions to be true. Okay, now what we'll do is it will look that sales should be more than 500, category should be furniture. If you see, I got only 18 rows in the output. So you will notice the category would be furniture. Sorry, I think I'm not executed this. Right. So if you will see now, I got 467 rows and you will see category is furniture everywhere and sale is more than 500. So both the conditions are true. Okay. So I hope you are able to try this. Okay. Now we have OR. OR is used when you want at least one condition to be true. Right? So when you want at least one condition to be true, that is where we use OR operator. So if you say select star from orders where sales is more than 500 or category equals to furniture. Now, if you choose this query, what is going to happen in this case is it is going to check at least one condition. Either this should be true or this should be true. Okay, so let's run this. So one has to be true, right? One condition has to be true from here. So you see, I get more number of rows. So if you will check the rows, one condition will be true, right? Either it is furniture and you can see sale is less than 500. Over here, both the conditions are true. In this, you can see category is technology, but one condition is still true. That is sales is more than 500. So one condition has to be true over here.
So if the both is true, it will not display like Amit. If both the conditions are true. No, if both the conditions are true, it will not, we can't able to view the result.
No, they will come if both the conditions are true. Like for example, if you say furniture and sale is also more than 500, both the conditions are true.
Okay.
So at least one has to be true, at least one. Like in the case of and, both have to be true, but in this or, at least one has to be true.
Okay.
Okay. So now, can you all try to write a query? What I would like to do is, I would like to see the data of bookcases and chairs. I want to see the data of two subcategories. Fetch the data of two subcategories, that is chairs and tables. Can you fetch the data for these two subcategories? Right. So if I have to write this query, how will I do it? I will say select star from orders where subcategory, right? So subcategory is equals to, where subcategory equal to chairs, or I will say subcategory equals to tables. Right? This is what we will write. So I want to fetch all the data where the subcategory equal to chairs or is it tables, right? Because you cannot write and. And means in one single row, it has to be both. So either the subcategory can be chairs or it can be tables. It can be only one of them. So that is why we are saying select star from orders where the subcategory equal to chairs or tables. So if I run this, it is going to fetch the data only for these two subcategories now. Okay. Anyone, any question up till here? Anything that you would like to ask? Okay. Right now, if I just change this question now, if I say I want to fetch the data for chairs, tables, and I also want the data of furnishings. So what I will do in this case, I will add or, and I will say one more condition, or subcategory is equals to furnishings. Right. So I will add one more condition in this, that I want that data where subcategory is equal to chair, or subcategory equal to tables, or subcategory equal to furnishings. So this is going to fetch the data for these three subcategories now, right? So what I can do is I can keep on writing that or conditions for the same column if I want to fetch the data for multiple items. So now if that is the case, right? If you have to write this query for 5 subcategories, or you have to write the query for 7 subcategories, don't you think it will be very tiring to write this subcategory again and again? Right? You will keep on writing where subcategory equal to this, or subcategory equal to this, or subcategory equal to this, or subcategory equal to this. So in order to overcome that thing, we use in operator. So in operator, which was one of the comparative operator only. So what you can do is you can write the same query like this also, where you can say select star from orders where subcategory in. Now you will say where subcategory in, where the subcategory is chairs, comma, or chairs, tables, or furnishings. Right. So what we do in that case is we simply use in clause. Also in the in clause, what we do is we write that the data has to be chairs or tables or furnishings. So in this, what will now happen is you will not have to write subcategory equal to this or subcategory. That word subcategory you will not have to write again and again. If you see this query versus this query. So this in operator is something that helps you to write multiple or conditions in one go. Right? So where subcategory in either this or this or this. I hope this is clear to all. Okay, sure. So this is, I think, where we'll take a pause for today, right? So just to quickly summarize, right? So what we have done is we have understood the select statement, how do we use it, the different type of commands. We were trying to understand the order by clause, and we discussed about the where clause, right? In the where clause, we have logical and comparison operators and the different type of operators, how we use them. So that is what we covered today. Okay, so anything anyone would like to ask before we walk off the session?
Do we need to read anything for tomorrow?
So for tomorrow, what you can do is you can just read about the commands, like which would be distinct, right? So that would then group by and having. So these three commands primarily. And if you get a chance, just try to read about joins also.
Hi, can we use this in operator for multiple and conditions?
No, no.
Okay.
So it will be or only, yes. And or also for one single column. So I will simply say where subcategory in this or this or this.
Can you please share that notepad where you've written DDLDM? I just want to note it down.
Sure, I will do it right now. Okay, so I've done it. And what let me do, let me just save this also. I guess I shared both the class notes plus the April file also. Okay. So thank you. So thanks everyone. So see you tomorrow. हाँ जी दे दो.